Shalom, shalom. Giving honor and praise to the Creator and the Maker of heaven and earth. Brothers and sisters, this particular short presentation will start by me saying, may the Most High bless those who have subscribed to the channel, to those who have patronized the books, to those who have shared the videos, and to those who take out the time to want to listen to what a brother is saying. Nobody knows everything, and I am open to constructive criticism. Having now taught out to the Father, taught out meaning thanks. Having completed 10 books, yes. Written 10 books, ultimately coming over 1,600 pages. There were typos. There were grammatical errors. There were even dates that I gave, such as the matter of Herod, the son of Antipater, being incorrect, and then I had to go and change that. So I say that to say that nobody is above correction. Nobody is above being pointed something out to. You understand? I remember a sister told me when her and I was talking on the phone, and I had said something about, yeah, the stuff was tooken. And she said, well, brother, the word correctly is taken, not tooken. Knowing myself as an Israelite, knowing that we are not even Englishmen, but knowing at the same token, you are presenting yourself as a light to the people. It was not my place then to say to her, you a woman, be quiet. It was not my place then to say, well, we ain't English anyway, because you are presenting yourself as a light and part of being a vicar of the Creator of heaven and earth. In the book of Proverbs, chapter 12, verse 1, whoever loves instruction loves knowledge, but he who hates correction is stupid. Now that's what this says here in Proverbs 12, verse 1. So you don't want to be stupid. You don't want to hate correction when it's being presented. Now, of course, there's a way to present it in love. But even if you know somebody is presenting it with the side eye, with hatred, with, to use the layman terms, he's hating on one. Even if what they're saying is right, but in the wrong spirit, take the wisdom from it and just cast out that spirit. Take the spinach, get rid of the pork. I say that to anybody who may even buy my book, even if you disagree with the content of it. Take what it can be used for. Of course, me being the author, I agree with everything I wrote in them, but everybody may not agree. And you have to be thick-skinned, not thin-skinned, dealing in Israel. When you're presenting this even to Israel, when you're presenting this even to those who don't claim to be of the house of Israel. You can't be emotional or in your feelings or, can't nobody tell me I'm such and such. Well, if you don't see what I'm saying, that's because you don't have, no. That's not the spirit to take, brothers and sisters. You understand? So this is something we want to point out in this particular case. I'm going to have to ask the people, please pardon the cover, but I want to show this. Yeah, I ripped it when, going studying hard, even in my own book. All right, but it's called Egypt Talking Writing, and I'm going to use that as the thumbnail for this particular video. All right, this book is available on Amazon for those who want it, and the ISBN number 978-1098-906-528. My telephone number will also be in the description. Again, I ask people, please pardon the cover. I'm going to read an excerpt from that book for historical purposes. All right. The book, Egypt Talking Writing, addresses the controversial issues of the evidence of the Hebrew enslavement in Egypt. I explained in that book, from the studies I did, that the Exodus mentioned in the Bible did exist, and the timing being in the 13th dynasty of Egypt. Following is an excerpt from that book. Sir Alan Gardiner, in his book, Egypt of the Pharaohs, states this: like the figures quoted for the Shasu or Bedouins, and for the Koreans, who may derive their name, later extended to all Palestinians and Syrians, from the Hurrian invaders of the north. Immediately preceding, there is a reference to the Apiru, a much discussed term which we cannot afford to ignore. A few years ago, it was confidently asserted that these people were identical with the Hebrews of the Old Testament, but this is now denied by all but a few scholars. It is, however, generally accepted that they are to be equated with the Habiru, better Hapiru, of the Amarna tablets, apparently a generic term for outcasts or bandits belonging to no fixed ethnic groups. In Egyptian texts, they appear as Asiatic prisoners employed in stone quarries. What that was talking about is Sir Alan Gardiner, who was an Egyptologist, right? In his book, Egypt of the Pharaohs, he speaks about the people that were called the Habiru, and that terminology being applied to the later terminology of the people in the Levant, aka known as the Palestinians and Syrians. All right. Now we know good and well that Hadrian of Rome named the land of Israel Palestine. So when we read Palestinians in this regard, we're not talking about the people that came over there with the Ottomans and so forth and so on, and when the caliphate and everything of Islam came into that same land. All right. We're talking about, brothers and sisters, the people that were there in ancient days, in the biblical times. Now, one of the things to point out is that in linguistics of the ancient world, right, we have it to where B and P were interchangeable, just like S and SH was interchangeable depending upon what language one was using. All right. So when they say Habiru or Hapiru, that's something we want to point out. When you read, for instance, about what they call the Code of Hammurabi, you might see it as the Code of Hammurabi, because the B and the P, depending upon whether it's Akkadian, whether it's Hebraic, whether it's Egyptian, whether it's Cushitic, whether it's the aspect of Aramaic or Arabic even, you understand? Those two syllables, B and P, might be interchangeable between the two. You understand? And so, brothers and sisters, in getting into that, Ham is transliterated in the Bible as Ham, H-A-M, the son of Noah. Hamu, or Hamu. In many of those languages, the U represents the aspect of being great, or emphasize on what that word U is attached to. So Hammurabi, Rab, in ancient languages such as Hebrew, Rab means much or many. And this is why you find Israelites even saying Todah Rabbah. You might find even in modern times people speak of a rabbi or rabbi. Rab means much or many, and in certain languages means teacher. So this is what we want to point out in that regard. So Ham or Hammurabi means Ham the Great. The Babylonian Empire was started by Hamites, or people who in layman terms would be called Africans of today. So we can't marginalize people of Africa to continental Africa of today. And that's just something we want to point out in that particular case. Let's go on. The Hyksos were called such by the Greeks. They themselves were called Haikushosret, and they were the people who were the rulers of the Asiatics. Thus, we should note the people who were called the Hyksos or the Haikushosret did not call themselves such a term. The people called the Amu, Setyu, Retenu, Kor, the Jahi, etc. did not call themselves such a term. For debate reasons, I want to explain that the term Semitic is also a misnomer. Shem is the Hebrew word, Sem is the Greek translation of such. Since Greek does not have a sh syllable, it is thus metathesis said as Sem instead of the Hebrew Shem. Taking the understanding that Sem means mixed is not scholarly, and the roots and linguistics of a matter shows it to be the case. Scholars also have stated that the Asiatics were the ones who introduced metal weaponry to Egypt, as well as the use of the horse in the chariots. It should be noted that the Hyksos were not a set group of people, but rather, like the Apiru, a social class of Asiatics. The individual nation of the Asiatics belonging to was Amalekite, Hebrew, Israelite, Babylonian, Kassite, Assyrian, and what is referred to as the Anastasi Papyrus of Egypt, even the people of Edom. So these are things you just want to point out in that particular regard. All right? Brothers and sisters, just wanted to go over that particular aspect in history. Again, I'm open to constructive criticism. The book that will be shown as the thumbnail is available online, and my contact information is going to be in the description. Shalom. Most I bless.